What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Hey, that happened so fast. What's going on? Welcome to the FanUp Strategy Show here for the Sweet 16. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm Eric Lindquist. Excited to be talking college basketball. I don't get this opportunity very often. And not only that, I get to hang out with one of my buddies from the golf streets, from the NBA streets, from all of the streets. You need to follow him at JazzRazDFS on the Twitters. He's Ben Rasa. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I love some college basketball. I've been doing a ton of content with Matt Gajeski, but I know you are another college sharp, and I'm excited to talk a little tournament with you at FanUp here.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to, be overly impressive. I just want to give the people the information. And
that's right.
We're going to talk through each one of these games. We are going to fly because there's a really fun contest over at FanUp. It is, you buy one entry for $20. You get the opportunity to play with a random team that you get assigned and be able to have 5 questions and compete against other people. Really fun site to check out. Go over there, use promo code Awesemo, gets you some extra goodies. I have the opportunity of being able to, I played in an NBA contest there the other day, was able to finish pretty well there. I'm looking forward to talking through this one, but promo code Awesemo gets you a $25 a deposit directly to your account, plus a 2,000 bonus points bonus. That means they basically are giving you $20 just to check out their site. No strings attached. So promo code Awesemo does that for you. But first off, before we even get into anything else here on the gameplay and how we're going to go about building lineups, what are you looking forward to most, Ben, in this Sweet 16?
So, naturally, I like it because we get a little break. There's 4 crazy days, and then these teams, they win their little pod, and now they relocate, they take a breath, and you got some big time matchups. So I think just going about it, you still have a couple Cinderellas, but we also have the elite starting to clash. And I think this is the best time for the tournament.
It's phenomenal. I mean, last year, there weren't even fans in attendance at the games for the most part. You had a couple of family members here and there that were attending in Indianapolis. But now we're back to the crowds, the cheering, the one shining moments. So I'm looking forward to some Sweet 16 spectacular going up here for the next couple of days, starting Thursday, going till Sunday. Hope you are too. But over at FanUp, basically what you're going to do is you're going to sign up. You're going to use promo code Awesemo. You're going to get those free points, $25 as well, added to your account. You're going to be able to buy an entry into this contest. So go over, click the buy entry, and we've got Tyler Zander behind the virtual glass helping us be able to play this. Before we break down everything, I want to show you kind of the gameplay and how you're going to go about putting the lineups together. So click the buy one entry over there, Tyler Zander. Go back, pick a selection. You get a square assigned to you. Pick any of them. I love the number 4. I feel like lucky number 4 needs to be the one here. Don't you think, Tyler Zander? There it is. Oh, you get a Nike gift card right off the bat. Okay, great. That'll be emailed to you. That seems pretty awesome. So, okay, great. Sign up for that. Click on okay, great. We continue on. Hit submit. You will get your team in 3, 2, 1. We got the Arizona Wildcats. Now, that is drawing really, really good. Well, for the most part, it depends because I don't know if I trust this team completely, but you click continue. And there are going to be 5 questions that come up here that you must answer. And the key is to get all 5 of these right. Let's just jump into analysis for this game. And then we're going to break down all of the other games here in the Sweet 16, all 7 others here. But starting with this, Ben, looking at this Arizona team coming off of a TCU game that they could not have probably played a whole lot worse. They got bailed out by the likes of Mathurin and Christian Coloco. They looked really, really good here in this spot. But Houston is just loaded. And this game is probably going to be the most competitive here. I would say in the entire Sweet 16, Houston is not a 5 seed. I think we can all agree with that. Marcus Sasser, Jamal Sheed, Josh Carlton, and of course, my favorite, Kyler Edwards. How do you view this game playing out?
So they're obviously Houston, yes, is a lot better than people like me have given them credit for. It's a very competitive spread. I just, at the same time, though, I really don't understand. Credit to Kelvin Sampson, because this is a team that's in the Final Four last year. None of those guys are back. You mentioned, Sasser briefly, just reading their original roster. He's been out for the year for so long, and yet it doesn't matter. Sheed and these other guys that you just mentioned have stepped up and just been absolutely fantastic. So I get it. I do think the road ends for Houston here. They're just a 1.5 point dog to Arizona, but to me, the bigs, the multiple 7-footers on Arizona is just too much to handle.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, Marcus Sasser not even there. Sheed, Edwards, Carlton, Fabian White has been playing big minutes for this team. It's it's got some guys that just can put some defensive pressure on it. But I kind of look at it as Arizona could not have probably played worse against TCU. It was a San Diego spot where, they had all of the fans you could possibly ask for in the building there, kind of played to the level of their competition. I think that they probably bounce back here, but it's a game that I think could be really competitive for the most part. But we're going to go with Arizona here. We'll eat the chalk with that one. I think that they are the prudent play if you get this team. The second question that you're going to be asked, no matter which team you get assigned here in this spot, is going to be which player will score the most points in this game. So between Arizona and Houston, is there one player between Edwards, Sasser? Well, Sasser's not playing, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
It's not Sasser. I can guarantee you that. That's a stone lock.
Because I had him on the sheet and I was like, he has no minutes for the last 2 months. So I'm pretty sure it's not him. But Matherin, I feel like, is the chalk play. I love watching Edwards play basketball, though.
Yeah, I mean, Houston's defense is fantastic, but naturally, if you're right about, and if I'm right about Arizona moving on, you would figure that Matherin would be the focal point and probably the predominant scorer in this game. So now, we want to correlate here. So I'm going to go with Matherin.
All right. Continuing the correlation, which team will be leading at halftime? I think one of the chalk ways of doing this, the chalk way of doing it is just taking the team that you're going to have win, be the team that's leading at halftime. If you're going to get a little bit different, if you're going to try to get to the top of something and have it work out a little bit differently, wouldn't you possibly in a game with just a 1.5 spread, maybe try to go Houston in some lineups?
So you definitely can do that here. It's no big deal if Houston's winning at halftime, if it's a couple point spread, and that's very, very possible. I do want to caution people specifically about this game. I think it's fine. If you drew Purdue and you're talking about, will they be leading at halftime? Well, they're 12.5 point favorite. I think it's a little different there, but in a toss-up game like this, even though I lean Arizona, if you wanted to mix it up, I would be totally content picking Houston, even though I do think Arizona wins this game.
All right. And now maybe the most two intriguing questions. That's kind of the game theory question. Which team will have more assists? This is the fourth question for every single one. I have it grouped by which teams have more assists in terms of just the frequency. Higher total teams. I mean, obviously, Arizona scored more points on the year. So, I mean, would we just be looking at Arizona, team we expect to have success against Houston, even though they have a difficult defense? Wouldn't we obviously go to the Arizona side here too?
We would, and it's not just that, because they play extremely high tempo and Houston plays super methodical. So, of course, they're going to have more assists, but assists per field goal made, Arizona's at 0.65, which is second in the country. So even if they were slow, they would have a ton of assists. They just play that kind of offense. So they're a clear answer there.
And now the last question. Which team will make more three-pointers, Ben?
So Houston's not really, even though against, Illinois and certainly against UAB, it was just ridiculous how they were shooting the ball. But they're not a prolific shooting team. They make about 9 threes a game. I'm going to say Arizona. I know it's almost a clean sweep on their side of the ball, but you really do have to think that if they win this game, obviously they have a big opportunity to shoot well, to distribute assists. It's all correlated, and that's what we need to do here.
And then we're going to hit continue. That will end the program as far as how you're going to build for that specific team. That will be what you are going to be editing. If you want to edit the entry all the way up until tip-off of the game, you are able to do that, but you're going to confirm that entry. You want to do this a couple of times, probably get through enough times that you're going to get more exposure to other games, to other teams, in order to try to get everything perfectly put together there. Go 5 of 5. You're going to have an opportunity to win some major money in Nike gift cards. I could use some new Nikes. That's for sure. So take advantage of that promotion here. But we want to talk through every single game here pretty quickly with the same idea in mind. We don't have to answer every single specific question, but I want people to get a sense of how they can build maybe a little bit differently with those questions. Maybe if there's a spot that really sticks out to you where, the team that you're picking to win may not necessarily make more three-pointers, that will be something that would be very nice to touch on. But let's start in the West. The Zags facing the Razorbacks. Drew Timme was a monster in that second half, basically carried them. Chet Holmgren, I expect him to play a lot better here in this spot, but you got to slow down JD Noti. You got to slow down Jalen Williams. A lot of guys on the Razorback side that can be potent, but for the most part, it looks like Gonzaga's had tough with athletic teams like Memphis. They might have an athletic team coming up in Duke later, but as it stands right now, I think Arkansas is a great matchup for them here in the Sweet 16. They're 9.5 point favorites. How do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I think that we're going to find out that Memphis is just really good. And that's more what we saw in the round of 32 than anything else. So I don't really like the spot for Arkansas. They're not the type of team to me that would knock off a team like Gonzaga. They play pretty fast. They've got some quality, no doubt, but I think you'll see a better version of Gonzaga. If I had to go against the grain on any of these picks, I think the one you could say is maybe a guy like JT Note has just a huge game and a loss. I don't really see myself picking Arkansas to win the game, win the half, make more threes. They don't shoot the three ball well. Those are probably all in Gonzaga's territory.
Yeah, I love that call. I mean, Note has been awesome throughout the tournament, throughout the season, really. I'd be all right firing him up, but it's hard to get away from Drew Timme for DFS purposes, for pretty much all purposes, with the amount of usage he's taking up. That second half was just unbelievable from him to propel Gonzaga, and actually a closer game than I was expecting for sure. Let's keep it moving here in that same region, my friend. We've got Texas Tech and Duke. This is the most chalky outcome. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the West. But Texas Tech, I mean, I saw them just shut down my Iowa State Cyclones in the Big 12 tournament. It was really kind of embarrassing. I mean, they have 9 guys that play in this rotation. They all played 15 minutes or more in that round of 1 with nobody playing over 30. And then in round 2, same thing, 9 guys, 10 minutes each. They just have a stifling defense that can rotate in. I'm worried about my Blue Devils here. Are you?
Yeah, you should be. I mean, Texas Tech is a real team that knows what they're doing. They're a slight favorite in the game. They're going to cause problems. Now, Duke's got all the pieces. They've got these bigs, Paulo and Williams and these guys that I'm not exactly sure what Texas Tech will be able to do against them. But at the same time, this is just a defense that Duke has not seen, maybe honestly all year in some regards. So I like that. I will say that Duke is much more likely to make more threes. If you want a team that's going to make more threes, Texas Tech does not shoot well, and I don't think that changes here.
Yeah, Jeremy Roach really bailed out the Dukies, and that's so weird. He played 37 minutes out of the middle of nowhere. I've seen a lot of people are probably confused because I said Iowa State's my team, Duke's my team too. I mean, I grew up a Duke fan. In the Sweet 16. Went to Iowa State. I'm two for 16. That's pretty good, right? To have your two teams
better
come
than
on
me.
in.
I have no teams. Teamless.
The man with no team. Pablo Banchero needs to play really, really well. That's what it comes down to. But Jeremy Roach only averages 7.7 points per game. He played 37 out of the middle of nowhere. That was an incredible performance by him. I don't expect that going forward. But as you said, they have all the pieces. They have, 4 or 5 guys projected in the first round of the draft next year. They've got talent. There's no doubt about it. It's just a really tough spot here for them. Probably a game that I'm going to be very, very nervous. I actually do like the Texas Tech side here. Find it interesting too. Vegas does as well. -1 point spread there. Heading to the East, UNC, UCLA, 2 blue blood schools. You've got Boardman gets paid Armando. I can't believe I wrote that next to that. That's embarrassing. But Bacot, I really do think he's one of the best rebounders I've seen in college basketball in a long time. Caleb Love's a stud. And then UCLA, I watch a lot of ball for them out west here because they're always like the late night hammer when you get off work, being able to watch them play the terrible Arizona State, the Stanford kind of games. It's been brutal. But I will say who's really been brutal this season, Johnny Juzang has not impressed me at all. I think he's got to play a lot better for this team. Got to join Jaime Jaquez, who's been a monster. How do you feel about this game?
Well, first thing, we need to keep the status on the ankle. For Jaime, if he's hurt, he's going to play. I think they're going to be at full strength, but if something happens, that will domino effect what we're talking about here. And, North Carolina has been incredibly impressive. What most people remember, and rightfully so, is that they melted down against Baylor and blew a 25-point lead, partly because of the refs, to be honest, but they also were just a terrible press break. They need to be better. They got to keep Caleb Love on the court because Baycott can't do it all by himself. I think that North Carolina is going to win, though. I do. I think they're bigs. UCLA is not a big team. They've got some talent. They've got experience. But North Carolina is very, very good. And I think in an ironic way, having a couple guys foul out and Manic get ejected, it forces them to create some depth a little more. And I think that's useful for them because they were running a really tight rotation. And they got a couple guys step up when they really needed it against Baylor.
Yeah, Dontrez Styles filled in very nicely there. Styles was the guy that came off the bench and played 25 minutes, played some big minutes there in that spot. But yeah, the Brady Manek ejection was a joke. He was on fire from 3, and they basically said, you know what? Let's figure out a way to make this game competitive. It was one of the more embarrassing. I think I tweeted this out, and you doubled down on it with me. Worst officiated game I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, no, there was legitimately like 5 to 10 calls. As we zoom in on them, my little Seinfeld picture. I like what's going on there. Yeah, it was just a horribly efficient game. It was horrible. They lost control of it. It happens, but North Carolina did survive and they did advance.
All right. Don't forget, everybody, as we jump to, we got one more game in this region, and then I will remind everybody, just use promo code Awesemo is what I wanted to say. Sign up over at FanUp. We're talking some college hoops here. Smash that like button if you're watching this video after the fact here. For my friend Ben over here, one of the sharpest college basketball minds you will ever find. Him and Makajewski breaking everything down from a DFS angle here every single day of the tournament. We got 4 games tomorrow. I'm looking forward to playing this slate big time. I hope you guys are too. Purdue, St. Peter's. This is the one that Cinderella might run into a little bit of a wall here. Jaden Ivey, I was just kind of thinking top 3 pick. That might be problematic. 7'4" Zach Edey. I mean, that's going to be really problematic because he could just like stand underneath the hoop and dunk over people from St. Peter's. 12.5 point spread. How badly do the Peacocks get beat down here?
Yeah, I mean, pretty badly. This is not, and listen, St. Peter's, I'm not saying, I thought they were going to be Kentucky. I did think they would possibly handle Murray State, to be honest, but they're a good team. They play really good defense. They're shooting ridiculously unsustainable. They have no height, and there's no possible way that they can combat Travion and Edey. They did combat Oscar Sheedway in the first round, but that's just not going to happen here. Purdue should cruise. It's a 12.5 point spread. That feels about right. Not a game I'm looking to bet, not a game I'm looking to do much. This would be a clean Purdue sweep over on FanUp for every question.
I agree with that. That's kind of the one. If you get Purdue, you've got the nuts. I want to get Purdue. I will play till I get Purdue. Sasha Stefanovic, you've got 2 bigs as opposed to just 1 for Kentucky. This is a different situation. This Purdue team, as bad and inept as they are coaching wise, this is not going to be a problem. I feel pretty confident in saying Purdue gets it done handily. What
yeah, no, Purdue,
if it comes down to coaching, it's a problem.
I've been high on them all year, and their coach is very concerning. If they lose here, that would be worse. To me, this would be worse than losing to Yale in the first round, to be honest.
Agreed. This would be worse than Virginia losing as a 1 seed.
Okay. Now you like to take it to the extremes. I like that.
I do. I'm an extreme individual. I think you've learned this about me when I say things like,
I respect that.
Yeah. Hudson Swafford. Don't forget, everybody, 65 to 1. Smash it tomorrow. Oh my Lord. I can't wait. By the way, PGA is the best. How about my boy Luke List today?
Haven't seen it.
Oh, he just murdered JT. It was something. There was
carnage.
There was carnage. All right, going to the South. South region. So we talked about Arizona and Houston already here. I've got Michigan, Villanova. Michigan 5-point dogs here. They have a coach in Juwan Howard who will hopefully not punch people that I know, which is hilarious. Kelby Kravinoff, or not Kelby, that's his dad. Joe Kravinoff, my boy. Good to see him in the limelight. Maybe it's not his fault. He just got hit in the head. But Michigan here. Hunter Dickinson was a monster. He's apparently knocking down outside shots now. That was the new phenomenon that I didn't really see happening there. Adding that to his interior game, he's averaged 24 through the first 2 rounds here. Can he keep it going and keep it close against a Villanova team that's experienced? Connor Gillespie came to his own the second round. I feel pretty confident saying Nova smashes here.
I don't know about smashes, but they're a very difficult team. And I'll say this. When you talk about the questions that we get and the 3-point one being a little tricky, this is probably the most lopsided that you'll get of any of the games. Villanova's 16th in the country. They almost make 10 threes a game. They shoot a ton of them. They've got 4 or 5 guys that shoot them. They're the number 1 free throw shooting team in the country. That's what makes it very difficult, but it would be a true stunner for me. There's a much better chance that Michigan wins the game than makes more threes. Them making more threes than Villanova would be a true stunner.
I love that. That's what you came here for. If you guys are trying to find a little bit of that edge, this is definitely one of them. Jermaine Samuels, Eric Dixon, number of these guys from Villanova, but specifically Colin Gillespie. It was nice to see him get hot from outside. kind of looked a little lackluster in that first round, but I mean, it was Villanova against who did they play? Delaware? Wasn't it?
They played Delaware, then they played Ohio State. And he, truth be told, against Ohio State, he really didn't shoot well from three. He was 2 for 9, but he did everything else really well. His free throws are always on point. They're just a very difficult team to plan for because they play very, very methodical, but very deliberate at the same time.
All right, to our last region we go. Once again, smash the like button. If you're watching this after the fact here on YouTube, we would much appreciate that. To the Midwest we go. I believe that's the last region we have to cover here. Kansas, Providence, Friars, 7.5-point favorites here. Kansas is going up against Providence, and Remy Martin back. That's a big deal for Kansas. There's no doubt about it. Ed Cooley is just not, I don't know. This team isn't exactly a pushover here in Providence, but this is a Kansas team that got healthy. They're starting to play well. They look like a 1 seed for the first time in a long time. In Big 12 play, they looked all right from time to time, but they had a lot of really close games they shouldn't have had coming down the stretch of the season. I've got a lot of Kansas fans that are from back in my hood in South Dakota, and Twitter can always just tell me when Kansas is not playing well, and it seemed to be a lot in February. How do you feel about this Kansas team come tournament time here?
I mean, they've got every piece that you want. I was pretty disappointed with, they almost lost, but the Creighton game was a lot closer than it should have been. Creighton was down another big. They only had 6 players, and they hung in with the Kansas team that has everything you want. Obaji has to be the best player on the floor. He should be. Providence is everyone, when they say this, it's a slight, but it's also credit to them. They're the luckiest team in the country. They win a lot of games by 1 or 2 points, and that's a skill, but it's also very high variance because one bucket goes your way or against you and you lose. So I think when they're overmatched here, it's a tough sell for me to think that they beat Kansas. If they do, it's going to be pretty methodical, and I would take the under. Both teams don't really shoot it well. That's a 50-50 prop for the 3-pointers. Just a weird game to break down, but you do have to lean to Kansas given that spread.
Yeah, they had Kalkbrenner, who is the big guy that for McDermott's team that didn't play in that second round. He was the defensive player of the year in the conference, and all of a sudden they had a 6-man rotation against Kansas and kept it competitive. This is a Providence team that not just played well the first 2 rounds. I would say they handled every team the way that they were supposed to for the first 2 rounds in like a very meaningful way here. I guess Kansas 7.5. This might be my favorite one to target a dog as far as like, just give me the points with Providence. I think that this is a Kansas team that they definitely are more talented than Providence, but I mean, they beat an Iowa team that I thought was very dangerous, won the Big Ten. They go up against Richmond, and again, there's a lot of guys who can kind of get rotated through. You can not just ride a hot hand, but you get so much more defensive depth in on a floor. Same way I feel about Texas Tech and Houston, kind of getting it done in a different way. You can suffocate a team a little bit, and they're not going to suffocate Kansas. They're way more talented, but Kansas is definitely not playing up to their potential. I think on FanUp, if I was trying to get a little bit different, this might be one team that I might ride with the Providence side. Just throwing it out there.
They've got the talent. I'm not saying that, but they also, when you really step back, they beat a 13 and a 12 so far. Like, they're handling what they should. And again, it just speaks to their luck. That's really lucky that they played Richmond instead of Iowa. It's not their fault. They destroyed Richmond. They looked very good. Now they'll get the test to get proven that they're a legitimate team. You beat Kansas and it's off to the races.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just valuing Richmond's victory over Iowa, which,
for sure,
which just was like, well, they just beat that Richmond team by 28. So it's kind of the way that I looked at that. But yeah, South Dakota State was everybody's pick. I like poor Jackrabbits. I couldn't get 3 teams through, Ben. That would have been too much. Literally. All right.
Yeah, that would be too much oil. Get them out of here. They died so Iowa State could live.
So Iowa State could live. Oh, speak of the devil, plus 2.5 going up against a very athletic, backcourt centered Miami, Florida. I almost said football team, basketball team. See, that's why they're, a 10 seed or what's Miami? They're a 10 seed, aren't they? Yes, They are.
Yep.
Don't worry. I'm prepared. 10 seed Miami, Florida team here. 133.5 total here. I'm just shocked. I'm just going to say, I'm shocked that Iowa State's here. I have no idea how they're here. I guess Wisconsin's just a fraud. That might be the right way of looking at it. Refs probably helped us a little bit there too, but I do not trust this Iowa State team. I probably would be going clean on the Miami side of the ball. However, Iowa State definitely has a propensity to go out and chuck a bunch of threes. They die here, though. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel super good about it. It's a very competitive spread, much like the Houston-Arizona game where we started. So I get it there. Miami doesn't turn the ball over. They only had 7 turnovers in the 2 games combined. Iowa State is forcing an insane amount of turnovers. You can say that's partly because LSU is non-functionable. And then Wisconsin lost their point guard basically immediately in the game. He got hurt. If they can speed up Miami's backcourt, I think they have a very real shot to win. I just don't think that's going to happen. I really trust Miami's coaching. They handled Auburn's size with ease. I don't really understand how that happened. But to me, Miami is probably the side. The 3-pointers, neither of these teams really make a lot of them. They're both north of 200th in the country in 3-pointers made per game. So I think you flip a coin there. But if you tell me who wins the game, I would say Miami wins.
Yep, I'm with you. Chucky Hepburn. I never even heard of him. And all of a sudden, everybody's losing their mind over a freshman point guard and saying that that's the reason that Iowa State beat them. No, the reason is Johnny Davis did not play that well. He needed to play a lot better in that spot against an Iowa State team that's vulnerable. But Brockington, I love the lefty stroke. He could be good for us. Tyrese Hunter needs to be a god and play way better than he did against Wisconsin. That's for sure. But I'm with you. I think this Miami backcourt is suffocating here. All right. Wow. We just did that in under 30 minutes. We broke down every single NCAA Sweet 16 game pertaining to FanUp, of course. Our friends over at FanUp, go sign up over there. Use promo code Awesemo. Get those 2,000 points. That equates to about $20 plus $25 in your account. Can't beat that. Go sign up, play in this March Madness tournament. Ben, any final words for the people?
No, if you're looking for more college basketball content, of course, stay tuned. Tomorrow, me and Matt Kajeski breaking down our favorite DFS plays. And then on the Odd Shopper YouTube, if you want betting picks, that is the place to go. We will have the videos up. So it's just going to be a great weekend ahead of college basketball. Really excited to continue to dive into these games.
Ben, which team do you want from mine? I'll give you one of them. Do you want Duke or Iowa State?
I would take, well, I would never want Duke to win, but I already bet Miami, so I don't want Iowa State to win either. I'll take South Dakota State.
All right. And thank you so much. Oh, well, there you go. Thank you so much. I'll take the South Dakota women. They just beat Baylor. That was good time.
There you go. Let's go.
Let's go with them. Let's go Coyotes. Yeah. See, you say Coyotes. I say Coyotes. That's the South Dakota way. Tyler Zander, thank you so much behind the virtual glass there. Texas A&M didn't make the tournament. That's a bummer.
They play tonight, though.
Yeah, they do play tonight. Oh, that's not very nice. Ben Rasa, thank you so much per usual for all the expertise. I'm Eric Lindquist. Go Cyclones. Go Blue Devils. We'll see you later.